nice to meet you. My name is Michail Kozlov, and I'm talking from Moscow. And I would like to present you several technologies. And now I will switch to my screen demonstration. So give me a second to do that. And I hope you see now my presentation. So I would like to talk about several ESG technologies from Russia. And to start, I have to, okay. To start, what is ESG? And I hope you know, but if somebody that doesn't know, ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Actually, these are very important topics in today's world for corporations and for people as well, for citizens of all countries. And we know that ESG rating gets more and more important, and every corporation publishes every year a report. And that has an impact on loans ratings. And for us today, the first E, which stands for environmental, is the most important. I will talk about sustainable technologies, which are also environmental. Before I talk about technologies, before I start that, I will show you one slide and one simple chart. This is the increase in investments in sustainable businesses just in Switzerland in last years. And you can clearly see that in year 2018, 2019, unfortunately, we do not have numbers for 2020, that boosted like 62% just in last year. And I'm pretty sure that if we have a number for 2020 and 2021, we will see more or less the same result here, the same increase in investments. And having said that, I will switch to the technologies themselves. So I will talk today about three technologies. All three are sustainable. Two of them relate to energy, and one is indirectly relates to energy and is more about ground and nature and prevention of nature disasters. So first technology is TOPAZ. And this is electrochemical generator, portable generator of a breakthrough nature, of a breakthrough technology. Before we go to the technology itself, just what people usually expect and what people usually demand from eco-friendly power source. First of all, definitely it has to be sustainable and environmental friendly. Secondly, it has to increase, expected that it will increase the mobility of us. And third, apparently it has to be reliable. Otherwise, there is no need to use anything like that. And the generator TOPAZ that I'm showing you fits perfectly well into all these three requests. So what it is, TOPAZ? This is a generator which is based on fuel cell technology. You might have heard fuel cell as a word related to hydrogen energy, and this is correct. That technology, that generator also implies the same fuel cell technology, just a different branch of that. And the difference is that here we feed that generator not with a pure hydrogen, but with the LPG gas or methane. So LPG, which is just typical gas that you can buy in a convenience store. And I don't want to give any technical details, and this is an important comment. I have three products, I have three presentations, and I removed nearly everything technical from these presentations. So this is a very general explanation, and if you need more details, please let me know, and I will be pleased to share with you more technical details. But here is just an overall talk because I have very limited time for that. But anyway, even with this limited talk, I have to say that this generator has gas at the input, and it has only vapor, only water vapor as an exhaust, and limited amount of CO2. And even with CO2 as an exhaust, it is still sustainable. You would ask why it could be sustainable having CO2 as an exhaust, and I will explain a bit later. So first, let's talk about the area of application where we could use this TOPAZ generator. Even though it uses that still very exotic technology of fuel cells, it fights with the very well-known and broadly used technologies such as lithium-ion batteries and internal combustion engines. And here on the right side of a slide, I can also use mouse, and I hope you will see my mouse on the screen. So here on the right side of the screen, you can see the overlay of these three technologies. So all of them have benefits, and the more extracted, the more expanded is the axis, the better. So TOPAZ, which is green, is best at energy density and is best at sustainability in comparison to lithium-ion and internal combustion engines. Why it can be best in sustainability, even with CO2 as an exhaust? It can be explained here on this slide. So you see that internal combustion engines, they have CO2 exhaust, and TOPAZ, our generator, also has CO2, but here we have more than 1 kilogram per kilowatt hour of energy, and here we have less than 0.4 kilograms, so 2 times, 3 times difference. Why there is such a difference? Because internal combustion engines, and these are typical engines that we use in our cars or in, I don't know, in garden lawnmowers. So these engines are very inefficient if they're small. And here we're talking about small size. And our generator in the same power range is quite efficient. So it uses much less fuel, gas in this case, and produces the same amount of energy. And this is very interesting. And lithium-ion batteries have no CO2, but they have a lot of emissions on a power generation level, and they are quite toxic, which is not a good thing for nature and for our environment. And what are the main applications where it could be used? So we looked at this technology, and we found 3 main areas of application for that. First is transportation. Usually this is personal mobility. We're talking about small size. These are robotics. Second application is IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. And Internet of Things we have everywhere around us. We have many sensors, many activators, many systems everywhere, but they all are fed by batteries or they're connected to electrical grid. But if you need some devices of Internet of Things in a place where there is no electricity, then you have a problem. And then you need to get batteries which do not last long, and you have to go every day or every week to this device back and forth to swap batteries, or you need to bring electric line to the place where this device is, and that might be very costly. In case of our generator TOPAZ, we simply install that generator. We bring a big tank with a gas, and that might last for a long period of time. And I will show in the next slide some examples of how much long that could be. And third application here on the right is the one that we call gas to power. And this is also a very interesting case which does not apply, in my understanding, to Switzerland, but it does apply to many other countries and to many important applications. There are pipelines, first of all, oil pipelines, gas pipelines, or any other product pipelines. There are some other remote objects which require very limited amount of power, like just several hundred watts or 1 kilowatt. But a distance to that place is very long, and to bring there electricity or to bring their fuel costs a lot. And in that case, we can use our generator. And if it is a gas pipeline, it will simply take gas from this pipeline. If it is any other application, again, as in the case of Internet of Things, you will bring a big tank of gas, and it will last much longer than in any other kind of a generator that can be used at that place. So in all applications that we found for this kind of power source, we see that it perfectly fits and it exploits these benefits in the best way. And it is very important that these are all very environmental friendly solutions, because we help to limit amount of fuel that we use, amount of time that we have to spend to bring the fuel to this place. And it is another very important topic that I forgot to mention. Unlike a typical engine, it has no moving parts. So that device, the technology that it uses, there is nothing burned, and there is no movement, and there is no noise. And this is a pure chemical conversion of energy of gas into electric energy and into heat. So that technology can be installed in a wilderness, in national reserve parks, in places like that, and it will not emit any noise, any smell, practically any smell, and it will be absolutely harmless for the wildlife around us. So when we talk about the long-lasting power, what does it mean? And here we brought three simple comparisons to show what could that mean. For first example, we took electrical cargo bicycle. This is a kind of a personal mobility, but a commercial one. And one battery normally lasts for 50 kilometers. But if we take LPG tank like that, indicated, which is depicted here on the right part of the slide, it will last for 100 kilometers. So for that time, you would actually need to swap batteries 3 times, well, 2 times. Yeah, and every battery has to be recharged for more than 3 hours, while the process of refueling, actually, this is just a swapping of cartridges, which takes less than 3 minutes. Similar case is also applicable for robotics, for robots. And in our case, we took an example of delivery robot. And again, the same comparison with batteries. It will last for less than 2 hours, while with our TOPAZ generator, it can last for more than 6 hours, the time which will be required, which will require 3 swaps of batteries, which are the standard for this delivery robot. And a very Swiss, if I may say so, example of going out in the beautiful mountains of Switzerland in the Alps for several, if you ever decide to go for several days in the mountains and you do not have any source of energy with you, you would simply take this TOPAZ generator and it can feed with power all your devices of your family, your laptops, notepads, and telephones with the electricity for several days, for a long weekend, instead of having many power banks with you. So these are just some of examples of this technology. Apparently there are more, but I will stop on this. And second technology that I'm going to talk to you about is very much different, and it is about a ground penetrating radar. The word that it is penetrating ground is not, actually it does not do anything like that, because this is just a radar. This is the radio frequency device which can look into the ground without a need to drill any holes or something like that. And this is very good and very important for applications. So a few facts about this technology. It was designed in Russia. It was actually designed as, it has space origin because it was designed, the origins of that technology derive from a Mars 94 mission of nearly 30 years ago. And as a technology, it is very powerful and exceeds most of the competitors in terms of depth, precision, and reliability. And why it is sustainable? Because it allows you and helps you to avoid nature. It helps you to avoid some events of natural or artificial origin, which might harm which might harm people around you, and it can significantly save money. And here, this percentage that you see on the screen are just our examples of savings that can be achieved by using this technology. Instead of drilling, you would just drill few holes, and the rest you will get by using this radar. Instead of getting long and very difficult and sophisticated researches, you would use that technology and will get 3D image much faster. And for Switzerland, this is very, in my understanding, this is very useful because there are very many hydro dams on rivers. There are glaciers in Alps, and this technology, LOZA, can give you very important information on glaciers status, on concrete dam status, on any leakages which can happen there, and can help to prevent any disasters that might happen. And here I will show several examples of that. The image above is just a satellite image of the area. Image below is what you see on the screen of this geological radar, ground penetrating radar. I understand that it is absolutely, a normal person cannot understand what is here. I cannot understand what is here, but there are specialists that can decipher that information. But here they helped us to, and they pointed some very important items that we can see, any important elements that we can see on this image. First, this is the case of leakage in an oil storage tank. There was a storage tank where oil was stored, here on the first image. Sorry for Russian language, these are the cases, these are the images taken from the real case. And the owner of this oil storage tank could not find where oil leaks. So they asked our team with this ground penetrating radar, and they pointed out where that leakage really happens. And that helped to stop that leakage and to restore the fast speed and remedy this problem. In next case, actually there are two cases, and I will maybe stop on the next slide. Yeah, these beautiful colorful images show in reality how a pipe, which you can see here, how a pipe crosses a river. Normally, the pipe should not be seen on the river above the riverbed, and it has to be 100% covered by the ground, by the soil. And if it is exposed, this is a problem already. And our technology, LOZA, helped to see that and to point this out. And on the right image, you can see how it looks. You would not actually, well, nobody except for the specialist would understand what that really means, but they tell us that this is the image of a part of pipe which is exposed and which is a big problem. And why we believe that our technology is unique because no other technology of ground penetrating radar can work from the surface of the river, of the water. And in order to find this problem, you would need either to go down using the special people who would go around the river, down the river, or you need to drill holes or to make any more complicated work, which definitely will spoil the water, will spoil the nature around, and will take much more time and much more money to solve this problem. Actually, first to find the problem. There are many more examples, but I will not spend your time on that. And if you have any interest in these technologies, let me know. Third technology that I would like to talk to you about is a set of solutions for hydropower plants. And again, I believe that for Switzerland, this is a very important topic, which is ever important because a lot of mountains, a lot of water, a lot of rivers, and a lot of energy is being processed and being generated by water flow, by river flows. And there is a company in Russia that has a technology, a set of technologies that can solve a problem. But first, let's talk about what problem we can solve. Here, the problem is high electricity costs. Why electricity costs that much everywhere? It's not just a Swiss case. In most of countries, it is quite expensive. There are many reasons, but here I would like to stop on just 6 of them. First, this is a high cost of power plant, and not just the power plant itself, and high cost of engineering, high cost of power plant construction, and also apparently high cost of power plant maintenance. Then power generation. Power generation technologies are nearly perfect. They were in approval for more than 100 years, but yet there are ways to increase the efficiency. And in hydropower plants, in many cases, the power generation technologies are not very much efficient, especially in situations where amount of water is different in summertime and wintertime. Efficiency of energy transition, of energy transmission is also not very high. And there are technical details which I don't want to go into right now. But again, if you have interest, we can discuss that in more details. And smart grid, which is the new technology, new approach to energy systems, but it is still so complex and so sophisticated that by itself that creates additional problems and complications. But we have a way to solve this problem. And that solution would be to use best technology and best modern advanced technologies. And here I talk about that kind of technologies. Actually, there are 2 major technologies. First is unique kind of a generator, valve induction type, sorry for technical term, and a new type of a control system. Generator itself and the control system, both in combination stand for the whole generation, and generally speaking, they cover all major areas of generation. And by changing the existing technologies into new one, you can get a significant increase in energy throughout the year, significant decrease in costs, in construction cost, in maintenance cost, and in some cases, it could be even up to 300%. So 3 times less expensive construction in case if you have to use that new technology. Mind you, this is not every time. So we have to look at that case by case, but in most of cases, there will be a significant improvement. So what is that unique generator? Why it is so unique? I will show you just very briefly one image. This is that new kind of a generator blow up scheme. And what is important that now you see nearly all details of that generator. I understand that you probably don't know how a typical generator looks like, but I can assure you that it has many, many more details. It is much more complicated device. While this new technology is very simple, therefore it is cheaper, it is simpler to use, and this is much simpler to serve, to operate, and much simpler to make any maintenance. So this is the technology that we are proposing and that we are using. And we're not just invented that technology, it was being used for years. And on that map, you can see that in many countries of the world, that technology has been already in operation. And I will show you just one example. And this is a beautiful image of a power plant in Colombia, located in one of the river which goes into Amazon River. Why this power plant is so unique? Because you can see there is no dam. It is located on a very big river, very wide river, but with a very small difference of height on the left and right side. So there is no dam. However, the technology that we are talking about was capable of getting a lot electricity from this water flow to feed a small town. And this is the only source of energy for a small town. So this is just one of the examples, and I wanted to end this presentation by this beautiful image. Actually, this is and this we came to a conclusion of my short speech. And before I say goodbye to you, I would like to return once again to this first slide of my presentation. Investors care about sustainability. And the technologies that I showed you in these 25 minutes, they all are about sustainability. So thank you very much again. It was a pleasure for me.